Visit HayaBeauty.com. That's HAYAH beauty.com, or give us a call 205-703-8022 for questions, for information, or to book your appointment.
Beauty can take you higher. The mission is to inspire. I am, I was, and I always will be. Beauty higher. Beauty can take you higher. The mission is to inspire. And I always choose to start my day with higher, higher beauty.
I mean, it's election season, and I love whenever you and I get into conversation, just you and I, Eric, when we are here. It's always usually either before we start to record whatever our drafted episode is of the My Hairy Nappy podcast, or after we've done the episode. And I mean, our conversations are really good, and sometimes they can get very intense, and I love it. But you and I were just talking now, and I was like, God, we need to record this. This is too good. It's too delicious. It's too yummy not to share with everyone who's listening with us. And we're talking about relationships and politics, friendships. Like Eric started, the conversation by telling me about what's going on in his friend circle. And I'm going to let him talk about that, and then what my response for what he's saying is, and why I keep asking why. We're just gonna kind of replay what we said.
So what I shared with Darius, everyone, is the short of a long story. I removed myself from a group text. Shout out Team iPhone.
Okay.
So I removed myself from a group text because I felt that out of the four of us, there was one party whose political beliefs and alignments threatened me, people that looked like me, or people that I cared about. And it was not an easy decision. But I'll be 41 in a month, August 1st, roughly a month. And I'm at that point in my life where if you are endangering people, and again, it doesn't even have to be me. It doesn't even have to be people that look like me. It doesn't even have to be people that I know. It could just be people, because I believe in the sanctity of everyone having value.
Yeah.
And if you are endangering them, I can't rock with you. We can't text. We can't kick it. We can't grab a drink, because you are supporting the eventual eradication of those people.
That's so interesting. So when you mentioned that the first time, my response was, what is it that how do they justify what it is that they stand on? And I asked that because I consider myself to have a pretty diverse friend group, even when it comes to my, more intimate friends. Like we're tight. I would consider these guys to be my homies, my homeboys, and I know that there's not a mountain that they wouldn't move for me, personally speaking. But our relationships, although they are intimate, they really stop at our politics. We never talk about politics. We never talk about partisanship, where we stand as far as our voting lines are concerned. We really don't talk. We talk about intimate things like race relations and financial despair. We talk about all the stuff, but we never talk about political partisanship and where we swing. And I think that it really may be, I know that it must be intentional for us, but I think that it may be because of the fear of the possibility of our relationships severing.
Oh, absolutely. Because here's the thing, right? We all will eventually come across people in our lifetimes that we greatly care about that don't align with what it is we believe. That just happens because we don't always have these in-depth conversations. To answer your question, what is their justification? I was about to tell you with what one of my professors said. I'm gonna remix it a little. Essentially, what he said is, so Darius, if you and I went down to UAB right now and grabbed an infant out of the NICU unit, and we told that baby from today going forward that the sky was purple, that hey, that color is purple. That up there, that's the sky, and the color you're seeing is purple. The baby would believe that blue is purple.
Yeah.
This is an extreme example because it wouldn't be too hard for that individual to learn the difference between purple and blue. There's too much out there. When they started using crayons as an example, just as a kid. But when you are mired in a set of beliefs, and that's all you're around, and everybody around you is reinforcing those beliefs, and then they give you talking points to reinforce those beliefs at home, at work, where you eat, where you play, you will go to your grave defending it.
Yeah.
So that's how they defend it. It is essential to who they are.
That's so interesting because I think that it can be healthy to have that diverse showcase of beliefs around you because right now all I'm around is I'm around people who believe like I believe. I'm around a whole bunch of people that believe the sky is blue.
Yeah.
And so I'm not around people who have been taught that the sky is purple and what I see as blue is what they see as purple. I'm not around that, but I think that there is some very small, I'm very lightly saying this. I think that there is some advantage that comes along with being able to hear, even if I don't agree with what their belief system may be, or even if I totally disagree that the sky is purple, it's still, there's an advantage that I don't have because I'm not around anybody who believes that the sky is blue, and I'm exclusively around purple. I'm exclusively around those who thinks that the sky is blue.
Diversity in thought is so very healthy. I think what scares me is we live in a day and age where I don't see diversity in thought. I see truth versus lies.
Yeah.
And that is the disconnect for me, is I can't fuck with people who attach themselves to just blatant lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because as I was telling you, the story, I was clear to say, well, this person is not a Trump supporter because I know that's where people's minds would go.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say this. I want to be clear that I'm very much a supporter of diversity in thought. I don't want to be around people that only think like me because to me that hinders my growth.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think a progressive person, a progressive city, state, society, I can keep going, Earth, a progressive human population, you have to have that healthy back and forth based in truth. Mm-hmm. To see true progress. There's not, as we like to say here in the South, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? But there are wrong ways to do it too.
There are wrong ways to do it.
So I think for me, where I am in my life is going back to what I originally said. When you want to strip people of rights, when you want to denigrate the humanity of people and make them feel othered or make them feel less, I can't. I won't because I can.
Won't. Yeah,
I can.
That's the key. I won't.
I won't.
Yeah,
I won't. Not. I refuse.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, I was on Facebook recently, and I have a somewhat diverse set of intimate friends. I do have that, but then on Facebook, most of my people on Facebook are Black. Facebook is very intimate and family oriented. But then, I've made some business connections with people who are not Black and just of different races and creeds and backgrounds and from different countries and all this stuff. But, there was one guy who I'm friends with who is clearly red in his partisanship, Republican. Mm. And, I will typically fall in line with a lot of Democratic policy, but I don't 100% fully identify as a Democratic party member.
Same.
Yeah, but because a lot of times there may be policies in place that don't benefit, where I stand as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, with my family. So I don't get caught in I stand for policy and not necessarily partisanship. But but these individuals on this Facebook thread were all about the partisanship. It had very little to do with the policies. And we got to make America great again, which I have no idea what that means. Like great for who? And we know for who, but to what extent? And at what cost are we talking about making America great again? And then, for people who line up with those beliefs, because that's not policy fully. That's more of a belief and cliche that falls into that partisanship, but it's not. I mean, it's at what? How do you? So when I say how do you justify that, I'm like out there, like, because I'm intentionally going to diversify my friendship so that I can really start asking those questions. How do you justify that?
Here it is. Unfortunately, because my Twitter is at justlikewater17 if you want to debate me on this next statement, because it's accurate regardless of what you say. Unfortunately, the divide in America has always been black versus white. And the reality behind that is that everyone else had to then decide where their alliance would fall.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Here's my point. What I see as far as justifying and why people believe what they believe, on a whole, in America, it's about continuing the subjugation of minorities and allowing whiteness to be the default.
Yeah.
A lot of times politically, especially where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're asking me how do people justify it, they will never admit this, but the cognitive dissonance is they want that proximity to all the benefits of whiteness.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, because, well, if it's a white male, okay, that you can do the math simply. But at this day and age, we see black men supporting things that don't make sense as a black man to support.
At all.
And so when you start to ask yourself why, from what I understand, just digging into the psychology of it, because I'm not a professional, it is the proximity. They believe they have to power. The proximity to whiteness, which to them is proximity to power. Mm-hmm. And I can take that on down the line.
Yeah. Money, proximity to money, proximity to fame, proximity to all of the things that line up with power.
Yes. So I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is here in America, is proximity to the default, because the default always has the power, right? In America, whiteness is the trump card.
Yeah. If
you want to talk spades.
Yeah, it is.
Whiteness cuts the deck.
Yeah, and when you talk about making America great again, that's saying making America dominantly, prominently, and powerfully white again in supremacy.
Absolutely, yeah. Because here's the reality. Let's look at what's happening. What's happening is an attempt to remove rights, not even privileges, rights, from anyone that's not a white male. Mm-hmm. Why is that happening?
Well, and a heterosexual white male.
White heterosexual male. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. White heterosexual male. Obviously, if you take the power from all other men, you've eliminated a large part of the population. But the reason they're also taking or attempting to take anything from women, right down to white women, is this. If you look back to the civil rights movement, progress was not really made until the white moderate woman leaned on her white moderate husband, because he wasn't going to move.
No.
He was comfortably complicit. What I mean by that is he might not have ever done anything racist, said anything racist, voted or supported anything racist or segregation based, but his silence
Yeah.
and inaction
Mm-hmm.
was complicity,
Yeah, it was. It stood with it.
right?
Yeah.
And they chose to be complicit because of the comforts it afforded them as a white man.
Yeah.
And when white women started to say, we got to do something, I'm not allowing this. And the white men got to a place where it's like, I mean, if I don't act, my household is hell. Because at that time, white women still didn't really have many rights.
No.
But it was a lot of it. A lot of it was them leaning on the white moderate male to do something.
Yeah.
And now that we're talking this through, it was them seeing children being killed.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because they could see their own babies.
Yeah, they could see their own
their
babies,
children.
yeah.
Right.
Those maternal instincts kicked in.
So that takes it back to where we are now. Is I don't want anyone to ever think that I want to be in a vacuum or a silo, because I don't. I need that I need that diversity of thought so that it's a system of checks and balances for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm always right. I'm never learning. I'm never growing.
Yeah.
I appreciate being around people that think different than me. Up till 2016, and I'll just let that be what it is. Up till 2016, I found myself so conflicted politically because it was like, I actually like such and such candidate.
Yeah.
Or some of the things they
Or
say.
the policies that this candidate,
right. Now,
candidate stands
let me say that better.
Yeah.
Their policies,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't vote based on who I like personality wise.
Yeah.
John Kasich. I was actually a big John Kasich fan. Just to give you an example, John Kasich's a Republican, or a member of the Republican Party. So for me, and to what we were talking about, the ultimate point is just you can be different than me, you can think different than me, you can support different than me, but if your support actively
endangers my rights, endangers my opportunity, diminishes, gets rid of, forfeits my opportunities,
all of that,
then
but not just me.
We talking about collectively,
Like
me collectively,
right?
speaking.
Like, because I think what has gotten lost in this country is it ain't got to be just me or the people that look like me.
No.
Because there's that old saying that goes back to World War II. First, they came for the artist, and I said nothing. Then they came for the accountants, and I said nothing. Then they came for the homosexuals, and I said nothing. And then they came for the Jewish, and I'm Jewish, and there was no one left to protect me. That's where we are. That's where we are. We protect each other and those that don't look like us and that are not us, or we all fail.
Yeah.
Democracy fails.
So if you're out there listening to the My Hair Ain't Nappy podcast, we'd like to hear what your thoughts are on this topic right here. And you can do it and know that this is a safe space to do it. There's no condemnation for what your thoughts are. We just want to know what they are, just to diversify what's out there for us. We are in an election year, and there's a lot of, actually tonight is one of the, not tonight.
No, it's tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight is
The first debate.
The first debate between the two presidential candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And so we'll see how that goes.
Felony field.
I'm
That's
just
what
saying.
I call it. Felony field.
So
Name ain't Donald, where's name Phil? Felony field.
that's so funny. But I'm glad y'all are tuning in. Of course, this affects all of us. And, sometimes we ask, well, how is this a parallel between our hair and our lives? This affects every part of our lives. And your hair might start falling out because you're so stressed about all the shit that may come along with all of this. So they tie in very well. So, but anyway, until next time, love you, love your hair, and remember, your hair ain't nappy, and my hair ain't nappy either. Thank you so much, Eric. I think you're amazing.
Thanks, Darius. If you are not registered to vote, head over to www.vote.org. Do the legwork, get involved, be informed.
Thank you for listening to the My Hair Ain't Nappy podcast. Reach out to us on social media. We're on TikTok and we're on Instagram at the My Hair Ain't Nappy podcast. We want to hear your stories. Until next time, love you and love your hair.